And now I wanted to show you my piece that I'd done for Cake International. I'd like to say a really big thank you to Mel, who asked me if I would like to do a feature for the Cake International show, which originally was supposed to be in Birmingham, but obviously due to coronavirus it couldn't happen. Now I still wanted to do it because I already bought everything for it and I'd already made a bit of a start on this piece, and it's quite big and it's in my living room, so I needed to finish it, so I might as well show you guys it. So this is it. I'd also like to thank as well Calibre Chocolate, because they very kindly sponsored this piece and they provided me with a huge amount of chocolate to be able to make modelling chocolate from for this Centaur. So I'm going to show you guys what I've been making. You might have seen bits and pieces that I've been putting on my social media so far, on my Facebook page and Instagram page. Also, just before you tune off, hopefully no one's tuning off just yet, but I'm going to do a demo a little bit later this afternoon as well. Richard, what time's the demo? I've forgotten already.
1:30.
1:30. So it's not very far away. 1:30, we're going to be doing a demo, and it's going to be kind of partially some of this. It's not going to be the Centaur. And I'm going to let Richard show you what I've been making.
Just giving away what you're making.
It's called Zoe's Fancy Centaurs, so I think the name of it kind of gives it away a little bit anyway. But yeah, so this is what I've been up to, guys. I would have liked a bit longer to spend on it, but that's my own fault for not really getting on with it. I started it ages ago and then kind of left it for a while, and then this week has been a big mad dash to kind of get it finished. And I did a couple of courses. Sorry, I'm boring you all with chat now. I did a course with Gary Pollard as well, where we made a little miniature Centaur. That was really good. I did one-to-one with him. He's like a sculptor and he does a lot of things for the movies. And also Richard Martin, isn't it, Richard? Richard Martin FX, which I did. It wasn't a Centaur. I did like a big bust thing of like, I don't even know what it was. It was a made-up character that I did. But those really helped me with this. So I need to thank both those guys for helping me, really. Because I learned a lot and I was able to kind of use the same skills in this. So Richard, you can move the camera now. That's fine. So this is what we've made. I say we. I've made it, but I have had a lot of help from Richard in kneading paste and stuff. So hopefully you guys can see the size. We've used a few different chocolates for it to try and mix different tones. So I didn't really want to use too many food colorings, although it has got powder color on this side. I've just got some powder color on me from touching her. So she's made she's got dark chocolate in her hair, she's got milk chocolate in her skin and her body, she's also got white chocolate in like the horse body part as well as the milk chocolate, and then she's actually got some ruby chocolate in her top and like her fingernails and the balls in her staff. I think that's mainly where I put it. And then afterwards I used fractal and rainbow dusts on the surface, and I airbrushed some bits, and then we hand painted some bits. Some bits were a little bit more rushed than others, but we've got a few seams that I couldn't quite get rid of. But I think, guys, what I'd like to do really is kind of show you guys the process. Did I mention that already? I can't remember if I've already said that to you guys. So it's not the full instructions of how I made it step by step, because you'd be watching months worth of footage. No, maybe not quite that long, but it just shows you like me doing a few different things, so you can see the steps involved, but not in detail, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So yeah, should we pull out now, Richard? Can you get that on? I forgot to, can everybody hear me okay? Hopefully you can all hear the sound. Okay, hopefully. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'll show you now, and then I'll kind of talk through a little bit about what I did with it. Right guys, so we started with me trying to draw on the wall. Bruce became a pain very quickly throughout this whole process. But that's what happens when you do it at home. So I had to use a projector to put a picture of the horse on the wall, because I'm not good enough at drawing to just freehand draw a horse. So that's how we started to get the rough outline. And like I mentioned earlier, Calibre did sponsor this event, so they sent me quite a lot of chocolate to be able to create this horse. And I used the ruby one, the dark one, the milk one, and the white one. To create the modelling chocolate, I used it mixed with glucose syrup. It was pretty thick, pretty sticky, very messy to make, and it was literally just glucose syrup with chocolate mixed together.
I had to use different quantities of glucose depending on what kind of chocolate it was. The white one and the pink one were especially difficult to make into the modelling chocolate, just because I think maybe I overheated the chocolates a little bit too much, and with them having so much cocoa butter in, they were very greasy, very oily. So we made a few batches that didn't quite turn out right of the modelling chocolate at first, and I did use the recipe that was on Liz Merrick's, from the Sugar Geek show. I watched her YouTube video a few times, but of course people don't use the glucose syrup in America, they use corn syrup, so I had to change the quantities slightly, so it took me a little while. But yeah, I made a range of different colours. So the idea was I wanted to try and keep it as much of just chocolate rather than mixing a lot of food colours in, and seeing what we could use with those. Now, I got all my chocolate ready, which actually took about 4 days worth of prepping, and then I decided I was going to book myself on a one-to-one course with Gary Pollard. You guys might have seen him doing other things for Cake International. I think he's got a class due for Cake International at some point in the future. So I booked to do one-to-one, and I wanted to do like a mini Centaur. So mine was the male one, his was the female one. It just gave me a little bit of an idea of how to create an internal structure. So that was what I did. So for the internal structure, this was probably one of the hardest bits. Because I don't do any kind of metal work or anything, so my dad actually put this together for me. It took me quite a while to work out like the sizing for it. I tried to use my drawing on the wall. I had to draw more horses on the wall several times, and what I did was I bulked it with polystyrene, so it wasn't food at all inside this, or no cake inside this. It would have just been too much of a waste. Even if it was going to Cake International, it would have still been polystyrene, because it was never going to be cut up to be eaten. It's old polystyrene dummies that I had to use, so I pulled apart lots of my old display cakes for this, pulled off the icing, and I used the dummies. So it took me quite a while to stack these and actually cut them. So I tried to put smaller ones where the horse would be a bit smaller, bigger ones where it would be bigger. It was actually very time consuming. It took me a couple of weeks to cut the horse to the shape that I wanted, and the pink is just where I had some spare fondant there that's put in. I used like that expanding foam stuff in between, as if it was buttercream in the place of buttercream. The body again was difficult to do. I needed to make it on wheels so I could move it around easily, because I knew it was going to be pretty heavy as well. So I also not very good with a drill, so I dropped most of these. So yeah, quite a few wheels on the bottom. I had to support the weight and be movable, because at some point I'm going to have to get this out the house. At the moment, it doesn't fit out the house because I made it too tall. Then we started by adding, I keep saying we, I had a lot of supervision because I can't be trusted on my own with things. Throughout this, I still had to keep cutting the polystyrene down, and it was really difficult to work out the size of the body. I don't think I got the proportions quite right at all throughout this. Like, her legs are a little bit chunky still at the front. When I cut it, they did look okay. Then by the time I bulked all the modelling chocolate on, they definitely looked a little bit bigger and less shapely. So if I was doing it again, I would probably change her legs. When I added the modelling chocolate, I knew I was going to put more than one layer on. So the first layer really was just to sort out the shape a little bit more. Even though I've cut it already in the polystyrene, I know her boobs look funny. I couldn't work out the position as well, so I had to stand and work out positions. Then after I had to have a break from it, I went and did another sculpting course, this time with Richard Martin. I think it's called Richard Martin FX. It was like a character design course, but it was really helpful. We did a lot of fur effect, that kind of thing. So still at this point taking a break from the Centaur, and I made the woodland creatures that went along with it. You guys might have seen some of the images of these partially made anyway on like my Instagram and Facebook page. I don't know why I randomly put in a picture of the messy modelling chocolate. But yeah, I did the fox, or the snow fox, that I said was half cow, half tiger. Originally that was the plan. I know it works out completely different. The griffin one was my favourite one to do. That I spent a long time on. That one is Rice Krispies in the middle. That one, and the white snow fox / cow / whatever. And I had to use the dog's legs for modelling for that one. I also used an image by Kelly Riley really for that, and then the rabbit, again, just a polystyrene ball in its head. I had to cut polystyrene for its body. I could have used Rice Krispies. So just a few progress shots of all that. And I put in a picture of the horses that I made in the Shy Horse class, because again, it was just good practice for me making something small scale and then moving on to the bigger thing. So for the underneath bit, I just used any colour modelling chocolate underneath, like just to kind of bulk it out was fine. And I put sort of the muscle structure on over the top. I'm not sure I got the muscle structure quite right everywhere, but I tried my best. I had like a little horse that I bought from 2D Total. I think it's called 2D, maybe it's 3D Total, I can't remember the company. Anyway, they do all drawing stuff, and you buy like different animals and things for reference, and they've got like all the muscles really prominently put on so that you can work out if you're drawing or sculpting something where things should go. Like I say, it still didn't mean that I did it right. It was pretty hard work as well. So yeah, you can see kind of how messy it looked at this stage, and that it didn't really matter what modelling chocolate I used. You can tell which ones I preferred using, so the milk and the dark ones were actually the nicer ones to use. They were much smoother than like my white and ruby one. So I'm just looking at the muscle definition on the legs. Like I say, my legs didn't even end up looking like the one on the horse, but still good to use it for reference. Her hand, again, it's metal structure inside, so I spent a while to actually model my own hand because I didn't have anything else to look up for that. And then the face. Now the face I had to make off the model because I just couldn't reach. It couldn't reach up there. So yeah, she didn't quite look as I was planning, but it's okay. I was happy with her in the end. Adding makeup made such a big difference. When I say makeup, it is just edible powder. So this is her face, like her skin colour was made with the milk chocolate and a little bit of white chocolate. Now, it did add fondant to a lot of the modelling chocolate as well, guys. And I can't remember if I said already or not, but that was so that it didn't bloom and ruin in the house. Because when I put the heating on, it could get quite warm in the house. And I didn't want the modelling chocolate just melting or spoiling and looking funny on the surface. So I mixed it with some fondant to try and keep it from blooming. Okay, so the makeup is just edible dusts. I used some fake Cahill metallics on her eyes and some, I think I used the rainbow dust pinks and browns on her lips. I probably used a bit of fractal edible powder on there as well. And I did use fake eyelashes on this one, guys. I was just going to put big solid pieces of modelling paste for the eyelashes, but I was running out of time and I needed to do things quickly, so she just got fake eyelashes. And of course no one's going to eat her. You can see that once I kind of got a bit further on with adding the muscle structure, I then started to add like a final layer of modelling chocolate over the top. I also had a couple of helpers one day that just kind of got in the way. Things like the staff. I was going to do isomalt crystals at the end, but again, I just ran out of time. And I also ran out of space in the house. You can see how messy my house is in the background. So at this stage, I wasn't too far from done. And this was just a couple of days ago, this bit now where I'm adding the final layer. The problem I had really was that I struggled to blend together the seams. And some evenings when it was quite dark and I was working on this, and I thought I'd mixed all the colours to like the same colour for the horse part, and then when I look at it the next day, it'd be really obvious that one panel of the modelling chocolate was a completely different colour to the other panel. It's just because when I mixed the white fondant in it, I must have mixed in different amounts. You can see the leg is a slightly different colour there. And the random lines that I drew on it are where I was trying to work out what direction the horsehair would go in as well. And I wanted you to be able to see the muscle definition a little bit underneath the final layer. I maybe went a bit too prominent in some places with the muscle structure. I also think I could have gone a bit narrower with the legs, further near the bottom, near the ankle and the foot. I think it would have just made it a bit more shapely. So I mainly use my hands for trying to rub together those seams. I don't have overly warm hands, so sometimes Richard had to come and rub the seams for me. It was also made, losing my voice. It's also made a bit more difficult by the fact that I didn't actually take all my modelling tools and things home with me, so I was just trying to use whatever I had. I did spend a while trying to do nice hair texture, and I had a bit of a practice. So you can see here, like I tried longer hair, shorter hair, and especially trying to kind of create the different directions that horse's hair would go in. But even just doing the one small piece like that actually took a while, so in the end I just went for a quicker option, and I actually just used, I had the fractal pens at home, and I used the lids of them to just create hairlines. So I didn't spend overly long doing the hair. I think altogether I maybe spent 2 hours putting hair on the horse. You can see there's a little bald polystyrene bit at the back that I actually didn't even finish because I really was low on time. So this is now yesterday, where you can see me finishing it off with a bit of airbrushing, and I really wanted like a dapple kind of effect on horses. Anyone that's done my Shire horse class will know that I like to do the dapple effect horses. I don't know why, I think it just looks nice having a bit of pattern on there. So I did airbrush that. I would have liked to have airbrushed her everywhere to really get a bit more detail like on her body and stuff, but it just didn't have time. Even though I started this actually a couple of months ago, I would say. So I bought all the stuff for it. I'd started prepping the modelling chocolate, but then, you know, there would be weeks where I didn't have time to actually do any work on it at all, so it just kind of stood in the living room unfinished. Throughout all this, Bruce was a bit of a pain. He wanted to sit at the table with me most of the time and help, and I had to cordon him off from the horse as he wanted to lick its ankles. So it really is a good job it wasn't real cake and that no one was eating this. The bird on a finger I would have liked to have spent a bit more time on. I didn't attach it very well when I was working on it, because I worked on it when it was in place. It just kept wanting to fall off a little bit, so it's a bit wobbly as that bird. But again, thank you to Kellerbo Chocolate for sponsoring this, because I did use a huge amount of chocolate. I'd hate to think how much.
So hopefully that footage wasn't too boring for you, and it just gave you a little bit of an insight into the making of this. Like I say, I was supposed to do two. But this is in my living room, and I don't have a huge amount of space, and I did put fake grass on the wall. Well, I didn't. I had help from my dad, who's been nailing away into the walls with the fake grass. It's probably going to stay there probably for months actually now, because it's up. But yeah, so thank you for joining us and having a little look at this. So I'm going to disappear back to the shop now, which is where I have my shop and my workshop, but I didn't have space to do this up there. So up there, I'm going to be doing a face cake, and we're going to be doing a face cake of this guy, but it's going to be like a kind of 2D, 3D, so it's more one, you know, that you see from above, because we don't have enough time to do a big structured cake today. So that's going to be the theme. Maybe we'll change the colours, I don't know. We'll decide when I start doing it at 1:30. We're going to make it with a bit of fondant and modelling chocolate mixed together again. So yeah, that's going to be at 1:30. And I think, Richard, have we got something to show people at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, we're doing a little demo and a little giveaway.
Yeah, so 4 o'clock. Some new products that Fractal have very kindly sent us, and they've sent us 2 sets of these brand new products. So a set for me to show you guys what they are, and then we've got another set which we are going to give away, guys. So if you join us at 4 o'clock today back in this page, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you a little bit more about the product. I'm going to show you using it a little bit. I'll decide later what we're going to do with it, because I don't know yet. And yeah, and then we'll do a bit of a giveaway as well. Okay, so you can join us back again later. If you don't catch it live, guys, remember, it doesn't matter if you're not joining us at 4 o'clock. You can watch it tomorrow or another day. This footage is all here until end of December, I think. Is that right? Yeah, end of December. So you can watch any of this until then. And if you've got any questions and I haven't answered them in the comments below, because sometimes, well, I can't see the comments at the moment, but I can come back afterwards and go through. If I've missed anyone's comments, please do feel free to send me a private message on the Zoe's Fancy Cakes page as well, guys. And we do sell the Kellerbo chocolate in our shop as well, guys. So should you want any Kellerbo chocolate, it did take a long time to make the modelling chocolate though with it, but it was nice. I ate a lot of it. It put me off chocolate actually for a few weeks, but I'm back on chocolate again now. But yeah, we do sell that in our shop, should anyone need any. Right, anyway guys, I am going to let you get off, and I'm going to go prep for the 1:30 demo. Thanks ever so much. I'll see you later.
Oh, Zoe, where are you at 3 o'clock today?
Oh, I forgot I'm on at 3 o'clock as well. Ooh, I've got loads to do. I have a busy day today. It's a good job you said that. I was saying bye to everyone. I am on the Renshaw's page, not the Renshaws page, but the Renshaws group within Cake International. And I'm going to do a Mrs. Claus face cake. Face cakes, lots of face cakes to do. Yeah, so that should be fun. And it's not a terribly difficult one, guys. So, you know, nice and easy to repeat for Christmas, and a nice cute idea. Right, I am going to actually go now. Hopefully I'll see you at 1:30 or at 3 o'clock or even 4 o'clock. But enjoy the rest of Cake International, guys. See ya.